People accuse other people of being racist, but it's really the new word. What was the old word? I'm old enough to remember the old word. Do you remember it? Prejudice or prejudiced. And that's also a legal term. If a judge is prejudiced or prejudicial in his rulings, he can be overturned on appeal or he can be asked to take himself out of a case. Okay? It's another word for biased. Now, we don't hear anyone talk about prejudice anymore. It's always racist. They go right to racist because I think that it started to just wear thin on people. And so now they're using the new word. But the last I heard, Hispanics were not a race. Okay? Donald Trump is talking about a country of origin and an ethnic, not a racial, an ethnic background. There's only one race, people. There's only one race, the human race. We all come from two parents. That's it, okay? There's only one race. So I have to read to you, I want to read to you, this is actually funny. Turn in your Bible, if you would, to Titus chapter 1. Listen to these words. One of the Crete's own prophets has said, Cretans are always liars, evil brutes, lazy gluttons. This saying is true. Therefore, rebuke them sharply so that they will be sound in the faith and will pay no attention to Jewish myths or to the merely human commands of those who reject the truth. By the way, that was from the Cretan philosopher Epimenides. So here we have Paul quoting a Greek philosopher who said that the Cretans are always, what's the line again? Liars, evil brutes, lazy gluttons. Now that sounds prejudicial to me. That sounds racist. But, take out the word Cretans and put any other, white people are always lazy. What is it? White people are always liars, evil brutes, lazy gluttons. If someone said that, they would be, and then Paul goes on to say, the saying is true. So rebuke them sharply. This is talking about a group of Greeks, people, the island of Crete, okay, part of Greece. And he's quoting a Greek poet who makes an overarching statement. Clearly not all of the Cretes were liars and lazy gluttons. Clearly they all weren't, okay? But the saying is true. That's what Paul said. The saying is true. What does that mean? It means that Paul the apostle actually recognized that at times you can make an overarching statement like the Japanese are really good at math. Now, do you really believe that all Japanese are really good at math? I just don't think so. But have you ever seen those competitions where they use those balls? Put that up on the screen. That's so incredible how fast they can add using that thing. Or if you look at how many engineers come of Japanese descent. And why is it? Well, I would bet that it's cultural. I don't think that there's anything about their physique that makes them better mathematicians. I'm certain that it has something to do with their culture and with the discipline of parents passed down to children who grow up who pass it down to their children, and it becomes a part of their culture. If you say all Italians are great cooks, is that true? No, of course it's not true. But I come from an Italian family where all of them were great cooks. Man, I love Italian food, right? All right, so I'm using compliments to show the inverse. If I said all blank were bad cooks, clearly that's not true. But if a certain group of people really don't care much about food, English food. Have you ever had English food? It's so bland. It's so bland. Now, if I said the English are such bad cooks, well, what if I meant by that they make such bland food? Am I being prejudiced? Am I being racist? No. If Donald Trump says that judge, because he's Hispanic and because he belongs to a lawyer's firm and a group that have contributed to give money to Hillary and Bill Clinton to make speeches, the group that he's a part of, if the WorldNet Daily story is true, gave $675,000 to the Clintons, okay, to make speeches. There's their speech revenue again. So is Donald Trump a racist because he says, I can't get a fair trial from this guy because he's of Hispanic origin. He's part of the race, a racist Hispanic group, if you want to use their word. He's a part of the race, la raza, and he hates my politics about building a wall on the southern border. And now that I'm the Republican nominee, he's trying to grind me in this civil trial to make me look bad to help so that I will lose the election. Does that make Donald Trump a racist? It's stupid to say that it makes him a racist. It's actually stupid. It's ignorant. But I'm going to go a step further. When someone like Paul Ryan or Jeb Bush says, oh, there's no place for racism in this race. Oh, come on, Jeb. Come on, Paul. What kind of little schoolgirl babies are you? Really and truly? Really and truly? Are you that enslaved to the fear of the New York Times and the Washington Post? Grow up. Grow up and admit that you look at certain people groups and have certain behavior patterns that are in those groups and you're worried. I'll end with this. Jesse Jackson said that when he's walking down the streets of Washington, D.C., and he hears footsteps coming up behind him in the night, he's relieved when he turns around and sees that it's not black men. That it's not black men. In other words, it's white men. Oh, he said because he said it pained him because he knows statistically that 1 in 4 young black men at that time were in trouble with the law. And there was a good chance in D.C. that he was going to get mugged. All right? Was he a racist for saying that? Now, if I said it, if I said I'm walking down the street at night in Washington, D.C., and I hear footsteps behind me and I turn around and I see that it's not young black men and I'm relieved, am I racist to say it? Is the color of someone's skin the barometer for what they can and cannot say about any ethnic subdivision of the human race? If so, then the insane are in charge of the asylum. You've got to be crazy to think that. You've got to be stupid. You have to be ignorant. You have to be foolish. And you have to have a political agenda that you want to browbeat people into silence over other issues. That's what's really going on here, people. To browbeat people into silence over other social issues using the race, not card. It's not a race card. It's a bludgeon. It's a nightstick, using the race nightstick to get someone to go along. And Donald Trump, God bless him, won't go along. And I won't go along. All right? I won't go along. I don't think for a second that Donald Trump can get a fair trial before this man, any more than I could have gotten a fair trial before Judge Robert Ward because of Ward's politics and because of this man's politics and the group that he's a part of. He should recuse himself. If anyone is a racist using their stupid definition, it's probably this judge.